Okay, so today, yesterday, as you already saw, like we completed a basic test case for the user registration process. Today, we are going to talk about buffers in Tosca. Okay, so let me share my computer screen. Give me one moment. Yeah, I hope you guys can see my screen now. Yeah, so what are buffers? Why do we need them in Tosca? So buffers in Tosca are nothing but variables. Okay, so these are nothing like in different programming languages, or if you are doing some basic mathematics and all, you call it right. Like let's say a equals to 2 and b equals to 3, something like that. You assign right. So in the same way, in Tosca also we have buffers. These are nothing but they have a name and they also have a value assigned. So let's say I'm creating a buffer called test. I can assign any value. It can have a string value like ABC, it can have a numeric value 1, 2, 3, or it can have a mixture of both and with some special characters in it. Nothing happens. Okay. In this way, I can create anything. But I'll have a name to my buffer and I will have the corresponding value also. So the problem here in Tosca is you cannot create a duplicate buffer. Okay, no duplicate buffers can be created. So for example, if I have a buffer, if I have a variable called a with value 1 to it, and next step, I'm again saying assign value 2 to it. So a will become 2. Your 1 is gone. Okay, similarly, if a buffer a is having value test in it, and next time I am saying assign a with value Ramya, so now my test is wiped off. I just have only Ramya. Okay, I can't bring this value again. So this is the main concept in Tosca. So why do we need these buffers or anything is same when we are implementing our logics and all in Tosca. Tosca it is also one way of developing your automation scripts, right? So you are developing your scripts in Tosca. Might be they are not having any coding part and all. That's another thing. But still you are developing something. When you are developing something, you always need these variables. So here there are two ways. Okay, so when you talk about variables, first thing you need to know is how do we create them. Second thing is how can we see them. Okay, another thing is how can we update them. And also you need to know how can you delete them. So there are two ways in creation. Okay, one is by using the standard modules. This is one way of creation. The second way of creation is through the action mode. You saw yesterday in our test cases and all, there are action modes, right? We are using input, verify. In the same way, there is an action mode called as buffer. So in this, by using this action mode also, you can create. So these are the two ways of creation. The next one, viewing. I'll show you all this practically. I'm just making a note so that you guys also can note it down. If you are doing it, I'm so happy. Yeah. So while viewing, you have something called as buffer viewer. Okay. This is the main section which helps us to see all the buffers. If you want to use the buffer value in Tosca, you have a format that is curly braces, this format. We will discuss about this later. Okay. For now, don't think about it. Just keep it as a note thing. That's all. And for updating, you already know you can either update the value same way as creation only, like by through using standard modules or by using the action mode buffer, anything you can just update it. And for deletion, you have a standard module or you can delete through this buffer viewer. But the buffer viewer way of deletion is bit tricky, but standard module is very easy way to delete. And this is the most preferred way also. Now let's see practical. Okay. So I am just giving you a very high level summary again. Buffer is nothing but a variable which has name and value associated. In Tosca, you cannot create any duplicate buffers. So if you have a buffer value like a equals to 1, and if you again set a value, so it will get updated and it will clear the old value. So when you talk about variables, you have to know how to create, view, update, as well as delete them. For creation, you can do it in any way, depending on the step you are working on, depending on the flow that you are working, you will decide which one to pick up. So you can either create a buffer using standard modules, or you can create a buffer using the action mode also. You can view your buffers in the buffer viewer, and also in order to access the value of the buffer, the syntax is this, which we are going to talk later. We are not focusing on this one right now. We can update a buffer value by using the same ways as creation. And for deleting the buffers, we always make use of the standard modules. And you can also delete your buffers through the buffer viewer. Okay. Now let's see our Tosca commander and let's do the same. Okay. So let me open Tosca commander.